Morning, fellas. All right, let's see what we get today. Still really in this consolidation. Still tired, I feel that, yep. That's why I've become addicted to coffee. What a shame. Oh. Quick look here at yesterday. Jeez, excuse me. We did have one nice long opportunity. That was pretty textbook. This is like, you're not going to find a better play setup than that, if we're being honest. Unfortunate we couldn't be there for that. Right, short-term low cleared, hitting low at the opening range, new day opening gap, midpoint of a new week opening gap. Displacement through a high. YouTube model, first presented, aligned beautifully with it. 8:30 open was there as well. Opening range gap, midpoint as well. Expansion straight up into new day opening gap there. Oh, you botched it? What a shame. Were you trying to short that morning or what? Or you just missed entry? Because those are them trades where you risk 5% of your account right there. But at this point, let's see. Oh, damn. The all got taken out at break even before the run up. That's always heartbreaking. That's right, new day. But I feel you. I'll be a little salty. And, you know, with mixed openings, though, I'm not necessarily too worried. Like if one of them is showing price action that clean. It's always nice to utilize the other instruments, of course, but in that type of scenario, like, especially because there's SMT at the lows. Right, let's just look real quick. Let's go back to it. So then we had yesterday here. Okay, so same spot. Right, we were mixed in the sense that NQ was a little bit stronger off the opening, straight up. But even seeing that, right, like the fact that we just went straight up, we broke through the highs and we left the opening range gap open. We're trusting this because that's SMT on the lows there, right? That tells me that ES is only going lower to pick up that liquidity. If NQ is going to stay strong and bullish and leave a breakaway gap, and ES is going lower to pick up sell side, we're seeing that as simply manipulation. So when ES catches back up, pretty much right with that order flow, leaving the first presented there. As we said, that's pretty textbook to trust that, especially because at that point when this first presented was created, NQ had already left that as a breakaway gap, and we're still going higher. Right, so the expectation would be NQ just holds the most recent fair value gap here. Yeah, well, I'm not relying a lot on making sure that the other instrument is doing exactly what we would want to see. We can use it as a gauge, but when something that clean presents itself, there's no hesitation for me right there in that instance. Oh, we just opened up though. Let's see where we are here. Today, I mean, yikes. So once again, right, look at the delivery heading into the morning. Brutal. I would actually like to see us, I know we're all-time highs, but I would like to see us try to get back into yesterday's open. So on a daily sense here, I just want to see if we can retest that level. And all of these runs higher, we've really been retesting the previous day's open quite a bit. So I don't see any reason to try to, I guess, go against that in this sense. We want to see previous day's high being traded into. I know, I'm sorry, brother. How fake. I had to take the lady's car in, so I couldn't actually stream. It's funny though, I was looking at it, I was like, bruh, that's the cleanest setup. That's why I had to post it on Twitter. I was like, of course. One day we don't stream the week, you get the best setup of the whole week. So right, once again, mixed opening. We almost expect that every single day, just because of where we are, what kind of environment we're in. My expectation was I wanted to see price go up first to retest previous day's high and trade into this fair value gap / liquidity void here. And then I wanted to actually try to break lower and attack right this trend line liquidity. So that's kind of what we're going to go into today. Short-term bearish bias. Which means, honestly, if we can leave this first presented open perfectly aligned with yesterday's high and then invert that, that'd be a clean entry. Oh, okay, we close it. That's fine. For us to go short at this point, we really want to get below opening range here. Small opening range tends to lead to choppy mornings as well. You felt the betrayal. Hey, it was just once. I felt it as well. Felt dirty. But here's the thing, I think most of you guys saw it, so that's good, right? Transfer of knowledge on the same page. So there we go, right up into that liquidity void, beautiful, right in its midpoint, retesting opening range. Let's see if we can get below. If we get below opening range, we'll try that early. Really just maybe into midnight. We'll give it some time. No rush this morning. Follow NQ here as well. NQ looks a little bit more bearish, so we want to see bearishness. Maybe NQ will give a nice setup. See if that stays open there. Low-hanging fruit, just go with the high. Okay. So we'll see that as that opening Judas swing. See if we can get below new day opening gap paired with opening range here. NQ left first presented already. Honestly, this could be another breakaway like yesterday. If we're going to stay heavy off the opening and we don't want to actually retrace, more than likely we'll just use this wick as midpoint. So we won't even get back into the first presented. We'll watch that to gauge if we're going to actually stay pretty heavy. No closure below. We'll wait a little bit more, see if we can get true closure. Midpoint would be an opportunity if we're going to be heavy. Kind of seeing in NQ what we would expect there for heavy price delivery, right? We leave that first presented open. We're going to use the lower quadrant of the actual wick. Still early though. See if this candle closes or if we're just trying to run out this little short-term low. If we can close below our opening range, I'd like to just use its midpoint to try to get short on that. So far, they were holding that pretty nicely. Okay, so we'll just watch that as we retest midpoint first. Small fair value gap. We're still holding new day opening gap here, all right? So kind of indecisive. We can hold this if we want to stay bearish. That's what we'll try to gauge and see. if price is going to respect the premiums. If we can hold midpoint and then close below our opening range, we'll actually just use the low of the opening range at that point. Conversely, if we do invert that, we may have an opportunity to actually try to get long. As we say, when all-time high markets, it's a little easier to target longs. ES or NQ just cleared sell side here. Right, so we picked up that low. If we invert this, we may actually use an NQ entry to come for these highs up here. Okay, let's see. Yeah, still leave. All right, so midpoint of that wick does want to hold. Pretty aggressive sign of bearishness there if we're getting close below this swing point now. Because we have a small opening range and we already delivered into yesterday's high, we're expecting a pretty choppy opening. What the? Why did that do that? That's weird. 2 minute volume balance. I just want to see what we do there. It's paired with the high of our opening range. Ideally, that would be a nice entry point, really. NQ stabs into that sell side again, does not close below. So once again, mixed here. If we get below this liquidity, more than likely we're going to stay heavy and just run. In ES we did here. Yesterday's high. So we ran it overnight pretty much. And then we actually just ran into it here at 9:30 as well. NQ hasn't hit yesterday's high yet. Or actually, NQ got it overnight as well. So they got it really early overnight, yeah. Both of them. Up here, right, we got it pretty much right when we opened. One more retest. Yeah, yesterday. It's a little weird in that sense, right? Like when we reference yesterday's high, it could still technically happen that same day because the daily candlestick closes, so we go off the daily. But if we're talking actual true day, like since midnight today, we even got it actually at that point too. So even, yeah, both ways we have gotten it. Because right, midnight opening is here, we got that as well. There's the close. Okay, so yeah, we expect to stay heavy here. That would have been entry. We're going to try to go in early. We don't want to see yesterday's high. We'll try to use midpoint and just target midnight. We can actually go a little bit more risk on this one. We've pretty much cut our risk in half just because of where we've been for every trade. But we can go back to the 0.25%. We're liking this. Hopefully we get it though. It might just run now. Once we close below this, that'll kind of free it up. So as we said, best entry would have probably been at the high of our opening range there. We'll see if we can get a retracement into midpoint real quick. NQ leading the way. Stayed heavy, kind of as we expected it to leave that fair value gap open. It's in the upper quadrant of the wick. Ooh, there's the release. All right. We might just run. We'll use the low, the opening range, kind of as we mentioned. Adjust stop to just be at previous day's high. We should leave that alone for the time being. But we might just dump here. See if we leave this open. We'll leave this here. We'll look and see if we can't get a retracement. Looks gonna have to open this up a little bit more. We look pretty heavy. Honestly, we could probably come back. Let's see. As we said, we wanted to see previous days open, so I don't mind that for a target. Okay. We'll see if we get the retracement. We have our first presented here. So honestly, we might just have to use that to get in. We'll try this. And we'll actually use stop all the way at the high of the opening range. So we want to be done with this. This should be balanced opening range. I don't want to see that deep of a retracement actually. We'll use today's first presented to try to get short. Yeah, we should be balanced up here, so I'm fine using that. We have a perfectly synchronized 2-minute here as well. 2-minute. Hopefully that doesn't become a breakaway gap though, right? Notice we have this very tiny fair value gap. We don't want that to be what holds. That'd be unfortunate. Oof, but it's going to. We'll give it another chance. If we close below midnight after holding that, more than likely we're going to leave that open as well. Ideally, we want to try to hold midnight, put in some type of swing low, then retrace into our entry, so then we could target the swing low on the way down. We did get closure below midnight. That has me a little bit worried. We may try to just use this wick. Watch that. If we're going to be extremely bearish and just want to efficiently deliver, we'll leave that as a breakaway like we did here in NQ. We are going to wait for the retracement. But in case we don't get it, we'll follow here. Especially because NQ's holding that fair value gap. Yep, there we go. We'll still look to see if we can get some type of swing low formation, not any swing low created yet. This wick area causing us a little issue. Let's see. We do have this little swing high, so I don't mind that internal range liquidity that we could pick up if we want to retrace. I just have a feeling we're not going to want to. This is looking heavy here. Still no swing low. Need to see a swing low being formed. This wick though causing an issue. Okay, yep, still no swing low. We watch this here in NQ. Right, this would be the next premium that's going to try to hold. If we're going to deliver based off premiums alone, PD arrays, that'll try to hold next and just continue to take out lows. Wouldn't mind if NQ tries to run out a little short-term high. Give ES a chance to come up here. Retesting the wick. Need to get above it this time. Hard rejection. Okay. Maybe we just enter there. We might have to do a stacked entry. We haven't done one of those in a little bit. That's just a huge stop. Negative RR. I don't want to do negative RR. We can enter one here. One at the high. Nah. Still early. Let's leave it. See if 950 to 1010 can't give us a little run into inefficiency and then deliver into our objective there. NQ blasted straight up and through that. So we're going to have to put bullish structure to go higher. Right? So we're not too worried that we're creating bullish framework like this. If we were to get above this wick, then that may be an issue. Kind of same idea here in ES, right? So we're going to enter on first presented. If we were to close above that, then we may actually want to run bullish again. So for now, we'd want to see wick offer support. Looks like it's trying to do that. Run out the short-term high, enter first presented, and then break and attack this low. We'd like that this was a singular swing low, right? Rather than like a swing low being cleared. Notice in NQ, we create the swing low and then we clear that. Whereas in ES, it's just one swing point. So those become easier to target as low resistance liquidity runs if price wants to maintain bearishness. We're going to have a fair value gap here. So more than likely, as we get entered on our first presented here, we're going to retrade into this fair value gap. And then that'll be the important key factor to note. We want to see price really fall right through this. We wouldn't want to respect this fair value gap at all. Ideally, we just immediately invert it and we just run right for this low. And at that point, how far is that? 5? We'll partial there. Oh yeah, 6. That's a good partial spot actually. So if we can get here, that'll be a partial. That's not what we would want to see there though. We don't want to be respecting that as a discount. As we always say, we want the swing high. We would not want that high cleared now, especially if we're going to hold this. Because now we're actually starting to respect discounts and disregard premiums. That's never a good sign for bearishness. Cool. That's what we want right there. Yep. We want to fall right through it. We don't want to hold the low of it though. We want to fall right through it, close below it, get our partial. Oh yeah, beautiful. That's exactly what we want actually. That's aggressive. So we're gonna let this try to run a little bit. We'll go here. NQ didn't even clear that low, so if NQ wants that low, we're gonna have more room to the downside in ES. This is a 1 hour fair value gap. So we're gonna close one more at the actual daily open that we had mentioned earlier. I wish my thing was not laggier than lag. Okay. Cool. We get a partial there, and I honestly don't mind letting this sucker just try to, let's see. We have this fair value gap inside. We can go midpoint. So the 1 hour and the 15 overlap pretty much at the 1 hour midpoint. That'll be our final exit there. Look for another kind of heavy day that just wants to sell off a little bit. Second partial, we'll go break even. Actually, if we close here, we're going to move it to break even because we shouldn't disrespect this fair value gap at this point here. So risk-free trade, partial secured. Love it. Should get second partial, and then from there, we just let it rock. That becomes a true break-in structure. This becomes our new premium. Beautiful. Low tick that there. And now we just let it run. All right, so that's daily open. We can move that. Sweet. Let's just go straight here. We don't care about NQ. And this will be it, fellas, for us today. As we said, the last week or 2 weeks, we're dialing back the entries. We get our profits, we dip. Always love an entry like that, though. That's so clean right there. Jeez. Only thing that would have made it better if we got a swing low right here. Wouldn't mind a swing low. We will expect some type of hesitation here inside of the 1 hour. So we want a pretty low resistance liquidity run, just like we saw here, into the 1 hour. That's what we would expect. Once we get into the higher time frame POI, then we can run into, right, a little bit of that consolidation. But ultimately, we'll still look for it to continue to break lower from there. As we mentioned, right, this creates low resistance liquidity runs when we have singular swing points like this, especially when we have strong premiums that we expect price to hold from, and higher time frame POIs that have not been delivered to yet. That just begs to get ran through easily, and that's what we saw there. That's also why we're kind of letting this run, right? That to me shows bearishness, a willingness to continue to print lower. So we're just going to let it run until it doesn't want to anymore. NQ still has not cleared its low either. So if NQ wants to get that low, we're still going to have a lot more downside room here in ES. We'll bring up NQ again real quick just to look at it. All right, so now we're holding pretty much at that up close candle. We should clear this low. Low-key, we might just try to let this for sure run. Let's see. We'll aggressive. If we leave that as a breakaway, especially, we might just aggressively trail. Can we get this original consolidation here? I mean, that seems pretty aggressive, doesn't it? Yeah, that's pretty aggressive, but I mean, maybe we just go for the low here. We'll go for the low of the 1 hour. Getting all the way into that consolidation seems a little ambitious. We'll kind of gauge though, like say that we did get into midpoint. We get to midpoint, we're going to trail our stop pretty much all the way to the high of that 1 hour fair value gap. If we were to displace through midpoint, at that point I'm fine just continuing to move our profit and trying to capture that huge run. NQ just picked up its low, so this may be the reversal point. We didn't want to see that. We would have wanted NQ to actually break through that low and stay heavy. This seems more like a liquidity grab to then go back up, which means, as we say, right, we delivered into our higher time frame POI. So from here is more than likely when retracements would occur and reversals would occur. If we get above this fair value gap, more than likely we'll want to run bullish. We've already secured most of our profits though, so we're fine letting it play out. Once again, we like these lows, right? These are inducive to low liquidity or low resistance liquidity runs. When we create singular swing points like this, and then just immediately go higher. Right, like here, note that, and then here, and then here. So pretty much we're gonna look for really textbook bearish delivery. Just protected highs, right? Protected high, singular lows to a protected high. This is an instance where we kind of are paying a little bit more attention to NQ. Just because, as we said, we really would have wanted this here to close below this swing point. So we need NQ to hold this fair value gap. And I really wouldn't mind if we can leave this as a breakaway. Leave that as a breakaway, break through a low. That's just another sign of heaviness. Makes us more willing to hold for that full run. Notice that we have a small volume imbalance here, so that's going to be another discount that needs to turn into an inversion. Just another area to gauge price. Make sure that we're on sides. We don't want to see that try to hold price. We'll just zoom in here like this for now. Mango, move. Beautiful. If we can leave that, that'd be beautiful. Replacing discounts with premiums. That's top tier right there. Okay. And we're actually going to have a new stop. So if we do break through this low and we get into midpoint where we were going to have our original exit, stop will be here at this swing point. How we interact with this low will also give us a good kind of gauge of what we would expect next. Closure below that low is what we're looking for. We don't want to see what NQ did, where it's just a wick followed by kind of immediate rejection, creating a swing low there. Another volume bounce, nice. If we can create a suspension block here, that'd be huge actually. Let's look for that. Creating the suspension block aligned with the hourly high as we break through a low. That'd be juicy. That'd be ideal. Nice. Okay, as we said, we want to see how we interact with the low, how we close at that low. We want to close below it to create a new break-in structure. Currently, it's a short-term low being cleared. We close below it. We did. That's a break-in structure for us. Bearish suspension block created. Anchored inside of a volume imbalance as well. Yeah, we like that. So we're going to let this try to run. Right, it's showing everything that we would expect to see for bearish delivery. So until we're proven otherwise or proven wrong, we just continue to follow that. That might be another spot to add, to be honest. I would add here, but the only thing causing the issue is that if this run could have actually got into this fair value gap, I'd add here with our stop at this high. We still do have a chance, however, of trying to pick up the short-term high and holding at this fair value gap, almost like we saw here in the fractalized version. Right, of course, this is a more pronounced swing point, but the same idea. We had a swing point resting just below a fair value gap. Price runs into that and then breaks. So I'm kind of thinking the same thing may want to happen here. Ideally, we leave this as a breakaway, right? Like we want that to be a breakaway gap, ideally. Oh, don't got a breakaway gap, whatever. But we want that to be left open. We want to hold for more suspension block here. Hey. Yeah, this will be a kind of an area where we're going to try to flip if we're going to go bullish, right? As we said, we would expect that the hourly here would offer us or create that consolidation. So we're not surprised to see that. He said, oof, yep, right at everything. This will be the reversal area. That's kind of why we don't want to enter here as well, right? Kind of combining all of the information we have to give us the best read of price. So the fact that we kind of got right through that suspension block, that's not a good sign, really. We need to try to hold that. We still haven't closed above, but we closed above its midpoint, and we've closed back above the 1 hour. This is where we would want to, oh, and we close above that. Okay, so yeah, more than likely, actually, we're going to want to get bullish from here. It's just a matter of how bullish. We expect this to be ran, but we still want to hold from here. Yeah, in a higher time frame, that held pretty aggressively, right? So like the hourly, we always have to use hourly closes and look at that. We held it. We couldn't close inside of that. So more than likely, that means we are going to get a retracement. We will look for the retracement. This is our line in the sand, though. Like in theory, we really could put our stop loss right above that. If we go above that, we're going to run for this high anyways. So I think we are going to do that. We're just going to move it here, right above this candlestick. Just pay for commissions. What we would not want to see is for the 1 hour to start acting as a discount that holds price, especially because we have a 1 minute fair value gap here. So we'd want to see pretty much the same thing where we disregard that, like we saw here. We fall right through it. Ideally, we try to fall through this fair value gap. We have SMT at this low as well. Okay, so NQ wasn't able to clear that low, so things are starting to look a little bit more bullish. Right, we create a low. We did hold that fair value gap that we wanted to see. We still need to hold that though, and we need to clear these lows. No, we cannot talk. Okay, so far, bullish, bullish, bullish. We will run this high. We are expecting that. It's just a matter of we can hold from this fair value gap here. We actually do have a 5-minute fair value gap here as well. Okay. And the 2-minute. So that's kind of why we are allowing price to try to get up in there. We could run this high and this candlestick. We have some fair value gaps here on a higher time frame. We said we've already hit 4-hour consequent encroachment. Okay, NQ, go ahead. Let's go ahead and clear these lows. If I'm being honest, I would have liked to see this actually run out this high. Before we break lower. If we break lower from here, that's kind of setting up an easy low resistance run higher. So we might like run into the 1-hour consequent encroachment and then come back up to clear these highs. Once again, for ease of mind, right, we are expecting consolidation inside the 1-hour high. So we're not surprised or confused by what's taking place. This is kind of where you just got to commit to the bias and let price work itself out. You'll get low resistance liquidity runs into higher time frame POIs. Once we deliver into those POIs, that's when the consolidation will take place. And then from there, you're right, you either get the reversal or you get the expansion continuation. We expect the continuation. As we said, this 1 minute is holding aggressively. If you didn't know any better, you would think it's just the 1 minute, but we understand it's actually holding at the 1 hour itself. Right, so sure, yeah, the 1 minute is important here, But that's not the true reason that price is holding here. It's using the 1 hour's high. That's more important than the actual 1 minute fair value gap here. I might try to add one more here, actually. I'm kind of liking this delivery. We'll use our profits to kind of pay for that, and then we'll still be, let's see, if we average out that entry, what would we need to be to get break even? The high. Yeah, I like that. We're going to try to just add one. We'll try to stack a position here. Stop loss right above. Might as well put that stop there anyways right away. If we get tagged in here, our entry will average out to be pretty much right at the high of this fair value gap. And then we'll just hold. If we get stopped out, we'll still have plenty of profits. But I'm liking the consolidation below an inefficiency while leaving a singular swing point here, resting just above higher time frame consequent encroachment. Another equal high, yeah, okay. So I like that. Because in reality, if we are offsides, it'll blast right through this fair value gap. Just watching some paint dry right now, that's all we're doing. And I'm also liking that inside of this 1 minute, right, we're creating a lot of liquidity in here, lows. So the expectation would be we create the false breakout and then we fall right through that with ease, pretty much like we saw here. Or even here, all down close candles. We're also holding that new day opening gap beautifully here. What if I would have pulled it up? Show you on like a 5 minute. Look at that. Bodies tell a story. We're getting squished. I mean, you could really tell, right? We're getting squished right between those 1 hour and the new day open gap. NQ, okay, NQ didn't get the low yet. We would not want to see NQ get the low while ES doesn't. This is the first time, notice we've actually closed inside the 1 hour though. So we're going to see what happens now. Ideally we get back above it. I really want to see these highs being ran first before we were to break again. Because if we leave these and break first, I almost think that that'll be more of a liquidity grab of this low. We'll try to hold the 1 hour and then we're going to go bullish from there to pick up these highs if we don't do it now. immediate rebalance. So if we immediately rebalance and leave the volume imbalance open, we're going to break from here and attack this short-term low. Okay, that's exactly what we did. So yeah, this low here will be the target. As we said, we immediately rebalance into the previous candle's low. We leave the volume imbalance open, and we open with another one. Very low chance that this doesn't get cleared here within the next few candles. Once we do that, we'll have to see how we actually close there, though. All right, because what we don't want to see is kind of like that wick that then holds the 1 hour, because then we could actually come back up into this. We'd much more want just a straight fall through that, break away from this area, leave these highs for later. Potential suspension block again. Nope. Closing it in. Still playing at that low. We'll fall right through this. I wouldn't mind if we leave this here and run up. Holding strong onto the idea that we want to stay bearish. Everything in here is just engineering liquidity to run. Make kisses, pretty queens. When I see you at the show tonight. Model. The title. Night. Well, once you cross that line, I ain't trying to fix it. Unaway from the struggle. Okay, life somewhere. All right, sell side inbound. Beautiful, beautiful. Now we have to see what we do here though. So ideally, as we said, I would have wanted to run these highs first. We're gonna move the limit. From here, we would need to see price close below the 1 hour and then break from there. We don't want to be coming back up into this range. Because that, more than likely, if we have to retrace into this range, more than likely we're going to come back up here. Like, that's not what we wanted to see there. Running this low and holding at the midpoint. Especially if this candle closes back inside of this range here. Okay, so we didn't. We'll see if we can stay bearish here. We need to get below midpoint though. And I don't know if I want to move our stop. NQ cleared its low as well, so we've kind of caught up. We're in the same spot. We got the same ugly closure though. Right, all wick. Look at that. That's horrible. So we wicked this whole low. That's not good. We haven't been able to close below swing point once. As we said, ideally this would need to hold now. Actually, ideally, we don't even come back into that. But if we do, that would need to hold. But if we truly want to see bearish delivery, this should stay open. And we should close below the 1 hour midpoint and then just try to keep running from there. If we can't close below the 1 hour, then we expect that retracement. You know, once again, struggling. That midpoint is holding aggressively. It's also 15-minute, 5-minute. Ideally, we hold this one here. And just keep going lower. So that's all you want to see. We want to see it try to break from there. Be a wick. That's not good there. Ideally, we break right back below this. That's what we don't want to see. This candle close above, next candle negate that and try to close back below it. If we could do that, that'll be a pretty good sign that we'll stay heavy. Okay, that's what we want. As we said, close below that though. That's a signature that we like to see if it's going for us, of course, right? So we close above a premium. We then negate that to actually close right back below it. That'll often lead to continued delivery in that direction. But this one instead holds. Okay, let's look at the actual fair value gap. Yeah, we hold midpoint. I don't like that because we hold the low as well. We need to get below that. If we test this 1 hour again and close below it, we'll jam our stop right here. Because at that point, I don't really want to hold for that retracement and we'll just be okay with getting stopped out in profit. That'll be another 8 handles. So we'll pretty much use that as our partial because we can't partial anymore. So normally I would try to partial as we run this low, but since we don't have any contracts, we'll have to use the stop loss. NQ was absolutely brutal. Look at this. Oh my, what are we doing, NQ? I mean, we're holding at areas we expect, right? So if you know what you're looking for, it's fine. But that is crazy. Okay, closure below. I like that. Let's release. What we would not want to see now is pretty much what we saw here in the other direction. We don't want to close below this, reverse, and close back above it. Want NQ to stay heavy. We did pick up a short-term high, so if we can break through this low, the wick low, that'd be nice. And as we said, any closure below midpoint of the hourly stop loss will then get moved at that point. We really could move it now to be safe, but because we already secured partials, we'll find just leaving it where it is. Maybe we just target this low, huh? Be content with that. We're going to target the lower quadrant. Still holding that midpoint aggressively. Midpoint of the rejection block as well. Need to close below both of those. We'd want to see this hold here. We don't, as we said, we don't want to close back above this fair value gap again, especially after holding this 1 hour consequent encroachment for a second time. That's fine there. Yeah, we like that. Rejection. Bodies tell the story. Let's see if we can get below the hourly consequent encroachment. We cannot. We'll actually aim for, there's a first presented here. We're going to aim for that. That'd be a good target. Still waiting for closure below here. As we said, at this point we want that to be a breakaway. So as soon as we close below, stop will be here at the equal highs. Boom. From here we should release. First closure below midpoint. We should release to attack this low, close below this low, and fall into first presented here, where we will then get out and call it a day. At 10:32, so I wouldn't mind that actually, because this may be our morning range low. So we kind of want to get out here on this candle ideally. We'll see if it can get some legs and reach all the way into our exit. We would not want to close back inside this range. Same thing in NQ. Notice we have not been able to close below a swing low once. Wick, wicked, 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 close below. Get some legs here. Go ahead, keep going, beautiful. Oh, stop. Now, if that's the swing low, that's just disrespectful. We're going like that. I don't even want to see the hourly high. There it is. Let's move this to the low. Oh, we're too slow. Ah, that's fine. Cool. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. That's textbook today there. All right. Nice. Let's see if we get the swing low. That's the only thing that would complete this and make it any better. Swing high to swing low. Reject from here, go straight bullish. Don't even attack that low. Oh, nope. We close on that. We're going to keep running probably. No swing low. Rip. We'll still see if we can create a semi-swing low here. If this candle goes bullish, we'll count it. We'll count it. Okay, definitely not a swing low now. Watch here. If we close below here, of course. Close below first presented and the 1 hour. Next target will be this first presented here. All right, we'll see if this could be a swing low. We'll take that. That'll be close enough. Cool. All right, good enough for us. We'll take it. Honorary swing low, we'll say. So we'll leave it with that. We'll be done today. Quick little recap. Right, we came into today wanting to see bearish price delivery. The objective was our daily opened from Tuesday. As we said, in this delivery, we've continued to retest daily open. So that became target number 1. Whoa, where'd it go? There it is. Cool. Nice. So overall target first was daily open, and then it was the 1 hour fair value gap. Clear cut entry model on the first presented. Right, short-term high was cleared. We returned into previous day's high, into the liquidity void. We reject aggressively. As we said, as soon as we close below our opening range and our new day opening gap, bearishness would resume. We displace right through that. We understand that there's no need to return up in here because price has already been balanced from this low to this wick. There's zero need to return into that. And that's why we see, right, we don't. That's why we're using the low of the first presented for entry, because we don't expect a deeper retracement. We catch the swing high beautifully. From there, we get the huge rejection, parceling at the short-term low. Second exit came, as we said, at that daily open. And then our final exit right at the first presented here. So overall, just beautiful bearish delivery. Nice to see that. Going forward, I mean, we might want to, as you said, that was a little aggressive if we want to come for the original consolidation here, but if we close below this 1 hour, let's check out the 1 hour real quick. If this 1 hour candlestick was to close below this 1 hour fair value gap, this low would be the next target here. So we may stay extremely heavy, create a large range day into that low. But we'll be content with what we're at now. Oh yeah, especially that looks pretty bearish. Something like that. That's valid for me. But as we said, we'll be done. Let me check real quick tomorrow. We have high impact news tomorrow. Finally, first time. High impact news, 8 o'clock. So 10 a.m. So we'll come back tomorrow morning about 9:50 to close out the week. Until then, hope you guys found it helpful. Have a great rest of the day. Stay safe. And we will talk tomorrow morning. See you guys then.